Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Skin in the Game podcast. Chad, my brother, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So this is the first time we've ever done this.
Yeah, I've been
in here.
I've lunch literally because you're always super selfish on your time. So we have a lunch literally next door to here, but never been invited in the office. So this is
welcome to the office where all the magic happens. We would always go to a studio, but Liam, our new creative director, built out the studio in the office. So we got in the office now.
That's awesome. The office is great here.
Thanks, bro.
Perfect location.
Yeah, it's a great
2 minutes
spot,
down from
right?
the house.
So we have a great story of how we met.
Yep.
Probably, a year ago?
I think probably a little longer than that.
A little longer than that. A good friend of mine that I grew up with. I had lunch with in New York, and he was like, dude, we're doing this amazing deal down in Tampa with this guy. You got to meet, this Jewish guy from the Midwest, Chad. I was like, wait, Jewish guy from the Midwest, we've got to meet. And it was Harley Miller.
Yep.
That introduced us.
Harley's without Harley, RAF wouldn't really exist.
And we're going to get into RAF, which is super exciting. So as I said, Chad Bronstein, great friend of mine. Chad, who are you? What do you do? And talk a little bit about the entrepreneur that you are.
Well, since I was a young guy, also a fun fact about both of us, we went to Miami of Ohio.
Oh, good point.
Yeah. But, and so since I was a young guy, I've always been an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
My own rights, always within sales, slinging Beanie Babies. They wrote an article about that at Miami of Ohio, actually.
Wait, when you were younger, you were slinging Beanie Babies?
Yeah, I'd call up all the newspaper. Well, I'd call up all the stores, find the Beanie Babies that were worth money. Then
how old were you?
I was 10. And my mom would take me to Dairy Queen, and I'd walk out. I'd meet these old adults, and she would sit next to me, make sure I didn't get kidnapped. And I walk out with a bunch of cash.
Ridiculous.
Selling these Beanie Babies. But anyways, I've always loved the hustle.
Yeah.
How you are, and I think it's born inside of you. And so for me, grew up with two parents that were also hustlers.
Were they entrepreneurs?
Yeah, my mom had a clothing business.
Okay.
And she's a hustler.
So many people that have parents that are entrepreneurs become entrepreneurs because there's this mentality, and was it like this at your house? This mentality of take a risk, make it happen.
Yeah, it's like that, and just like I think the old school mentality that probably is not as relevant to today is like you grew up in it, I grew up in it, Harley grew up in it. It's like your parents were hard workers. There was very little complaining.
100%.
And that's how both my mom and dad were. So they're competitive. I always had, no matter where you come from or how successful your family is, like my parents made me work, right?
Always.
So it's like, for me, I always had if I wanted a moped, I was going to have to find a way to make money to get that moped.
Dude,
I was sending Beanie Babies.
100%.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when I was younger, my parents were successful. My dad, hard worker, successful guy. They would never be just like giving me money. So I'm, 13 years old. My dad's like, go get a fucking job. Go get a job. So he called his buddy who owned a restaurant. I was bussing tables when I was 14 years old. You had to be 16 in the state of PA to work, just paying me under the table. But I was the only kid, 14 years old, bussing tables because my dad said, yeah, I have the money. I'm not going to give it to you. Go and work.
Yeah. I feel like even when we spend time together, right, and we're talking about things we're doing, or, even hearing you, like I watch you, I watch Harley, I watch all these people. The success people that I'm around will still do the same thing that the lowest person at their company will do.
Absolutely.
And I think that for me, that's really important.
Yeah.
And something that I look with hard work, you learn, and you never change.
Totally.
But yeah, so that's that entrepreneur. Then I had a car detailing business.
Was this in high school?
Yeah. I had a really successful car detailing business. And we did really well, but same kind of thing, cold called, winning fleets, etc. And then, I went to college, and I went to Kent State and then Miami, Ohio. And then,
I didn't know you started at Kent.
Yeah, I started at Kent State.
Can't write.
Can't read, can't write, Kent State.
Can't read, can't write, Kent State. Then you came to Miami. Jay
Ohio.
Cruyff.
Yeah, and met some of my closest friends there. One of my best experiences.
Yeah.
Then moved to the summer in Chicago and became a trainer. I was a trainer, personal trainer, number one salesperson at Crunch, selling sessions.
Were you even allowed to work at Crunch, or did you just go in there and run?
No, I worked. I got a job in the summer when I was in college.
Yeah.
And then I was just having so much fun. I was killing it, working like 14 hours a day.
Yeah.
Making a lot of money. I met someone there. And he's like, man, you're super good. You're amazing at sales. And he's like, you got to move to Chicago. So I ended up moving to Chicago. And
after you graduated from Miami?
No, I left a semester early.
Did you ever finish school?
No, I left a semester early.
Like a true entrepreneur.
Left semester early.
That's your claim to fame. Keep that rolling.
It gets better. So I left semester early. was the number one sales guy there, and the guy offered me a job, and they looked at it was called IAC. You're familiar with them. They own Ask.com, City Surge,
Yeah.
all
You got
different
it.
Urban
Got it.
Spoon, all that stuff.
Yep.
So get a job there, became the number one salesperson there. I met my wife right when I got back from, I had a Nissan Altima, my clothes folded on the floor in a nice apartment. That's all I could afford was the rent and Trader Joe's chicken tenders. And then, and she believed in me like right off the bat. And she's like, so I, from there, just worked my way into the ad tech world. And became very successful as an ad tech.
You were always doing sales.
Always sales, but that's kind of what led to me to, at that first job at City Search. Then I went to Bankrate.
What's Bankrate?
Bankrate was one of the largest platforms for financial advice. But like you'd go on CD tables and mortgage tables and like Ally Bank, Quicken. And so I'd be at 23 years old, I was wearing tassel shoes, going to biggest banks and selling CD tables and stuff like that. And then found my way in the ad network space. And that's where I really started to grow my career. Getting in sales, was able to close a deal with Target as one of my first big clients.
Killer.
Yeah, and just started making, a lot of money at that time. And then I ended up.
So you were what, 25 years old?
Yeah, technically I made my first like big money at 24. And it was all from commissions.
But it's all sales.
All sales. But then I led to leadership. Then I started taking over offices and building offices. And I was in the craze of like the demand side platform. Once ad networks transitioned to like programmatic DSPs, we built, I partnered with this successful entrepreneur, Kim Perrell, also big entrepreneur still. And she sold her company to Adconian Direct. And then I came in and became the chief revenue officer of Amobi, which we got bought by Singtel. But my whole experience for like most of my career was working with brands.
Yeah.
It's like Airbnb, Kraft, Kellogg's, Toyota, et cetera, and building out, using our technology and data to build out programmatic strategies.
Did you then start your own business from there? What
Yeah.
was your first real?
So I started a couple businesses.
Well, you had your Beanie Baby business,
No,
your car business.
So we sold the company, and then I stayed on for 8 years.
Did you make any money on the sale? Did you have equity?
Yeah, I had
Good,
a business. When I was there, when I came on, they weren't even doing that much revenue.
So you built this company with Kim.
Yes, I had
Got it.
It's a heavy impact with partnering with a great team. I also prided myself on building teams, and outside of me, I had a great team. Most of that team that I had from the past are all C-levels.
Did you recruit that team?
Yes.
So 2 consistent themes thus far in your life: sales, recruiting great team.
Yeah, I couldn't do anything I do without a team. It's
100%.
like, I get that feeling from you. That's why I think we built a good relationship, is because you are naturally a warm person. And so people want to be around that. And I feel like you treat people, when even walking in the office today, seeing how you treat people, I feel like I built a really good team. So if you were to go back and look, like, especially in the venture world, look at Harley. Harley worked for the guy that introduced us, Alex Creases.
Yep.
And they both build really good trees.
And by the way, we've said this name a few times. Harley Miller.
Yeah.
He runs Left Lane Capital.
Left Lane Capital.
Which is the largest investor, largest equity holder. Right?
Largest equity holder. And I think what I like about Harley is also like, he's got a set of, he's just big guts,
Big guts.
Yeah.
He always has.
Yeah, he's got big guts.
Shout out to Harley.
He's got big guts, and he's a really innovative thinker. And and the way Alex Creases, who's also one of my close friends, he's a partner in General Atlantic. He helped create Real American Beer. And he introduced me to Harley because Harley used to work for him in Insight.
So back to the business. So you, Kim, you have this business, you sell it, you're the CRO, build a great team, driven by great sales, working with big brands. What was next after that?
So I had all these offers to go to different companies. And I decided, as I looked at my wife, I'm like, it's time to go be a full-time entrepreneur.
It's time.
Jumped into cannabis and started a company called Philo.
What year was this?
2019.
So in terms of the cannabis market, frame it for the audience. Was this peak, bottom, middle?
It's tough, right? Because it's like peak, bottom, peak, bottom.
It
right?
always
so it's like, it was one, I don't smoke weed.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't know much.
Don't get high on your own supply.
No, but it's kind of like anything else. You take a risk. There was no real tech, and there was no real ad tech in the space, because most ad tech companies didn't want to touch cannabis.
Got it.
So the thesis was develop technology and compliance that allowed brands to actually target Saxton, that likes to, he's a venture capitalist, but goes home and likes to eat edible, right? You would never know that on paper
but
But-
you've got the technology.
Yeah. So we did that, and that's like back to entrepreneurship. There were so many big ups and so many downs, right?
Yeah.
Because like you said, it was like your rising tide of cannabis and then coming down.
There's just so much money that flooded in that market. Then the market got hit so hard. Were you guys a product of the market environment, or were you guys able to silo yourself off because you're a technology company?
We were a product of the environment because we had a lot of success in the cannabis space in the sense of like, but once the market crashed, it's just like anything else. If beer is down, Diageo is cutting their spend. Cannabis market's up, market comes down.
People
they
are
have no
spending money on ads.
and then you have all the limitations on the taxes and everything, 280E and stuff like that. So if they don't have a lot of money, they're not spending on marketing. That's the first thing to get cut.
So did you raise money for this company?
Yes.
Started bootstrapped and then raised, or you raised immediately?
Started bootstrapped and then raised immediately.
So you put your own money into start.
In the beginning, yeah, but
Got it.
very little, and then came out and raised a lot of money.
Who'd you raise money from?
Cannabis, you're not raising from venture.
Yeah, was it individuals?
It's individuals,
Got it.
investors.
And you raised a good amount of money for this company, didn't you?
Yeah, we ended up raising like in total like probably like 80 to 100, I think.
Yeah, so this was a serious company.
Yeah.
So back to the story. So cannabis is up and down. You're running this business, building a team.
Yeah.
What happened?
Just the market, right? We sold a company.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Good.
But I would say that it was a big learning experience. We acquired a bunch of companies, 4 different companies, went on the rapid, trajectory.
Yeah.
And just the market bottomed out. It's still bottomed.
Yeah. we still haven't seen it come.
It still haven't come back. But we actually transitioned a little bit, and we bought a company in Europe that was contextual, back to like adtech, contextual data, and that helped transition the business to mainstream again.
When I look at you, first off, somebody that I look up to so much, and, thank you for your friendship and everything that you've done for me. I look at how many things you can do at one time. It's one of the most unique things I've ever seen about somebody. You have this insane focus, but you're able to spread that focus across many different things at the same time, hence running Real American Freestyle and Real American Beer at the same time. How are you able to do that? I mean, nobody I know can really do what you, how are you able to do it?
So when we started Real American Beer, Hulk reached out to me multiple times to do it. And I wasn't ready to do that. I didn't really want to go back into like the celebrity business.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. But no, it's Hulk was super persistent, but there's a CEO at Real American Beer. Her name's Terry Francis. I think you met her.
Yeah, Terry's great.
So when we did it, I was partnering with this guy, Adam Arviv, who I also introduced you to.
Yeah, Adam down in Miami.
And Adam knew we were looking, for someone to run the company. And Adam had a friend named Charlie that introduced us to Terry. And Terry at the time was the chief commercial officer of NACO, which is a big plant-based food company.
Got it.
And she was an 8-year executive at InBev, running M&A. And so we brought Terry on. So I wouldn't be able to do what I do to the point without the team and without Terry being our CEO.
How did you sell her on the vision?
Because Terry, she was at NACO, and I went to Terry and I'm like, she was helping as an advisor. I'm like, Terry, you got to leave NACO and you got to come work for Real American Beer. So Hulk, I introduced her to Hulk, etc. But she's just a killer. Like she, I think when you leave big companies, as we know, you leave a lot of money on the table.
Absolutely.
People think
that's the hardest thing to do. The golden handcuffs.
Yeah. So she had a big job and everything else. And then she came to Real American Beer and she works extremely hard. So she runs the day-to-day operation there. Then we have a great sales lead. We have a great marketing team. There's a team.
Yeah.
Right? It's back to what we were saying. So that Real American Beer runs with a great team.
Going back though, you're doing M&A, you're buying this ad tech business with Philo, the cannabis business. How do you focus? Like what are some things that you do to just stay on track?
Just, you stay uber focused. And I mean, for me, it's like, I'm just very persistent, right? And like I talk about work ethic. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, 5 in the morning, I hit the gym, just keep moving. And I feel like I'm old school in the sense where like I'm not going to sit and send essay text messages. Like I'll pick up the phone. Even Harley, like he'll text. I'm like, I'll call him.
Yeah.
Because I can get so much done off a phone call.
Totally.
Versus like sitting down and going back and forth with
such
text messages. So most of the stuff I do is like I operate in communication and it's mostly verbal communication, right? So that's
So that's a good tidbit,
yeah,
right? Text, email, sure. I'm the same way. Like, text or that's bullshit. Get on the phone, call me, let's talk through it. If there's a problem, I can pretty much guarantee you that can be fixed with a phone call or two.
Yeah,
Typically, at least, unless it's a serious issue.
I think you talk about focus, but like for me, and again, I would say this about you, right? Is EQ is very important in being an entrepreneur.
100%.
I think that
and communication,
which is part of EQ.
Totally.
Like you need to be emotional intelligence and being able to understand a situation, especially in like being an investor and being an active investor. There's a difference between being an investor and an active investor.
Yep.
I feel like with you, when I sit down with you, you know your companies really well, and like you're not in it. I think the biggest learning experience you have as an entrepreneur is people that are in it for the highs, but not in it for the lows.
No, it doesn't work.
Sitting down with you a lot, and this is why I have so much respect for you, is you are an investor that like is in it for both, and that's rare. So I think that takes EQ, it takes loyalty, it takes perseverance. So I think entrepreneurs need, if you're going to raise capital, you learn that raising smart capital is the key.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And that's one thing I feel like I've sort of built my career on, but it's because I was an entrepreneur before.
Yeah.
I've had the highs of highs and the lows of lows, and the highs hurt more typically. I'm sorry, the lows hurt more typically than the highs feel good. And you need people around you when you have those lows. I mean, you know that as well as anybody. You've been through boom or bust. You've been through major success, major failures in your career.
Yeah.
You need people around you that can help and you can talk to.
I think when you go through those failures, that's when you know.
That's when you know.
It's when you know. It's like Kim is the one person that always, if you watch her in social or anything, or she just spending time with her, she's always like, she's an active investor. She'd be like, I'm investing in a lot of companies, but you know, I'm never expecting, 90% of them to work, right? Yeah. So it's like, if I'm taking that gamble, then I'm taking the gamble.
Yeah.
And it is a gamble. Totally. Right? So I think that, the failures teach you, they make you smarter.
Yeah.
They make you know who's with you. And that, I think it's like a Harvard education.
It's the hardest education to get, but it's the best education you could have.
Yeah.
I mean, not even a question. All right, let's go back to the story. So Philo, sell the business. What's next?
So jump into, I'm going to fast forward a little bit, but I was doing something else, and then I met Hulk.
Yeah.
And then Hulk talked me into doing.
How did you meet Hulk?
Just at a dinner party.
So just randomly.
Yeah. Through Vo, this guy Vo, who's my partner. I think you met Vo. Vo is my partner. He introduced us, and then we did some other products together, and then. But
was it when you met him that you were looking to do something with him, or it sort of just organically evolved?
We were doing something already, but then I did something else, and then we were together at a conference one year, and someone approached us about a beer, right? And he's like, "You got to do this beer with me, brother." And so. So we started to.
That was a good impersonation.
Yeah, well, I spent a lot of time with him.
Yeah, that was really good,
brother. But he was super smart. Like Hulk was a highly intelligent, high EQ, and just a hard worker.
It's timely. We were talking about this before. They just came out with this Netflix documentary. I would say never a huge wrestling fan. I mean, I was always like knew about it because it was in the 90s. It was big. I didn't realize how instrumental he was in the success of what do you consider the WWE? Was that professional wrestling?
Yeah, it's professional. It's professional scripted wrestling.
Professional scripted wrestling, and how well he was known just as a celebrity around the world.
So yeah, I mean, so I learned it. I loved Hulk when I was younger.
Yeah,
it's like it's part of like how. RAF, when you're younger, you didn't get to look up to you. I wrestled. You didn't look up.
Who do you look up
to? You look up to Hulk Hogan, right? Yeah. And Hulk was the most famous person you never know it, because when you're with him, he was like super humble. He was like, he would like to hang out, but like, Saxon, man, this is good stuff. He just wanted to talk and have a good, and he loved he was super smart on his brand. He built the Hulk Hogan brand.
Yeah.
And so he was protective of that. He was his own creative director. Yeah. Right. So we would go on the road we went on a road for a year.
So this is just so everybody's
Real American
Beer, which is a beer that Chad and Hulk started.
Yeah.
What, 4 years ago?
A little over 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Doing extremely well. Great
Yeah.
beer, by the way.
Yeah.
Full endorsement.
And we just went on the road. So it was like, it gets back to our team.
Yeah.
His son, Nick, it's Terry Francis, CEO. My sister runs sales. She's incredible at it, right? Conrad, who I think you met, is CMO. Matt, the whole team, right?
Yeah.
We were on the road. We all sacrificed a good amount of time.
Yeah.
And we would be with Hulk. And the amount of people that would come out to see him on these tours was insane. So like, it was a great last year for him because he got to see
so many fans.
And then just remember how beloved he was, right? Because he did touch a lot of people's life. Everyone has their own issues here and there in their lives,
of course.
I would say he made a lot more impact and did a lot more good.
That was another takeaway from this documentary. He was always doing the Make-A-Wish stuff. He was always a hero to people.
And it was sincere.
And it was
there was no gimmick to it. It was super sincere. He was not doing great at the end of when we were on the bear tour. He could sometimes barely walk.
Yeah.
He'd stay for 3 hours. Yeah, physically.
Yeah.
He would stand for 3 hours. I would get tired watching it. And he'd make sure every kid got seen. Because he's like, I'm not leaving these kids came to see me or fans, I'm not leaving it.
All right. There's a third concept here that I want to weave in with the two that we've already talked about, and that's branding.
Yep.
You talked about Hulk having an amazing brand. He's his own creative director. He was, the Jake Paul of his time, if you want to say, just an amazing brander, probably better, right? How much does brand and your background in advertising play into the success that you've had with your businesses?
It plays into a lot of it. It's like it's like building a house, right? So you're architecting every part of the story. And it takes, it's not just me, it takes people that I've been working with for years. Like, I forgot to mention, like, even on the legal side, Nicole Cosby, who's been working with me for years, she was at Publicis, right? At a holding company. It's like, there's so many different factors of a team that come into play. But yeah, it's marketing, right? Like, our Real American beer, we had Hulk had the brand, we know how to utilize it. Now we have now we have to launch, it's Real American. Hulk always wanted to be, unified product, right? So we work with other influencers, other areas that we need to be in to make sure that we're targeting our audience. And then Real American Freestyle, we're to call it RAF, an international product, but we learned, we saw an opening, and we know how to develop and promote.
So Real American Beer started. By the way, this is one of the best stories, one of the best stories of entrepreneurship I've ever heard. Real American Beer is taking off. It's doing well. All good. You see an opportunity. Your kid is wrestling, right? And you grew up wrestling. You saw an opportunity. Was it a vision that you had? Like, how did this all come about to build what is now the fastest growing alternative sports league in the country? Like, it was nothing. A year and a half ago, it was in your head.
Yeah. So, well, there's a couple factors to this. So my wife, who's like your wife, right? It's like my rock. She's been there for me, and she was going through. We always struggled having kids. We have 2 now, but the second one, our daughter, was tough. So she was in the hospital. She was bed rest for 3 months, and then we were in the hospital for almost 4. And so during that time, I'm used to traveling, being that entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And then it's just like everything stopped, right? And so I took the time to I didn't travel. I kind of stopped, like you were saying, when did you stop with like the other stuff?
Yeah.
That's when I did, because I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And so I found, I was able to take my son to wrestle, and I was with this local club in Tampa, this guy, Coach Joyce, who I always talk about because he had a really good big impact on my son.
Yeah.
And me, because I'm going through this rough time. I'm taking my son to wrestling.
It's like you have he's you got to talk to.
Yeah, well, in general, I'm just remembering why I love the sport. This guy retired. He was a accountant, successful, but he retired, and he's not charging. He has a club. It's great. He's not charging one for privates, which is rare.
Yeah.
And so I was like, fell back in love with the sport. I'm like, man, I love this. I forgot how much I love the sport. And then as I'm going on the road with the beer, right? And this is a true story. We're on the road, and all these wrestlers are also coming to see Hulk, right? So
that's the key.
This is like, we're in Oklahoma, and everyone from Oklahoma, you're in Nebraska, you're in these markets, and that's our audience. I'm like, back to my marketing background. I'm talking to Terry and our team. I'm like, I'm traveling the road outside of just Hulk. My son and I are traveling to Tulsa for wrestling tournaments.
Yeah.
And all the parents at the end of the day, when you're done with the craziness of the tournament, you're drinking a beer.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, this is an audience that we should be able to own in the right way. And so then it led with like, okay, how do we do an NIL like tournament? And I signed a deal in 2024 at the Amalie Arena to host a NIL tournament.
What is an NIL tournament?
Just like a tournament where you win a prize, like for all the wrestlers.
Got it. Okay.
And then it just started segueing into this professional opportunity. But then, so here's how it goes. Then so I met Izzy, right? So Coach Joyce from Tampa says, when you go to Chicago, which we live in the summer, go to Izzy. I said, what club should I go to? Go to see Izzy Martinez.
And Izzy Martinez is the most well-known wrestling coach in the country.
Yes,
right?
he's one, and he just runs it. Yeah, he's a great coach. He also was the MMA coach for John Jones for wrestling, Holly Holm, Yair Rodriguez, many others. And so I go into his room, and he doesn't even let dads in the room. Right? There's no dads allowed into his room, and so I go in. My son's 7.5 the time, but again, my wife was in the hospital, so he has like this weird thing where it's like a parent has to be with him at that time. So I'm like, dude, I gotta stay in this room for at least 2 days to get this kid comfortable with not knowing who you guys are.
Yeah.
So who's his dad? Who's his dad? He's crazy.
Fuck is this guy?
So I was like, and it really was like I couldn't at that time. It was like my son was really weird with that stuff. So stayed there for 2 days, built a relationship with him, and then I started telling him about this idea. And he came on the road, spend time with me and Hulk. And then Hulk, so that's how, it started to come out with this idea. He'd fly to Tampa, and we'd send my
So you were just trying to like incubating ideas. What could we do?
Incubating ideas. And I'm going to get to this. Give me one more minute. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
So that, because a lot of people, Eric Bischoff then joins the story. Vo, who's my partner, is on the beer side, Hulk's manager, joins as part. I'm like you would, and me and you would just sit in a lunch and talk. I told you the idea in the beginning. You didn't know what it was. I said, hey, we were sitting at a cafeteria and I was telling you the idea. But anyway, so telling them, and then Alex Creases, who's from GA, he introduced me to Harley about the beer. And Harley was a personal investor in the beer. And then I told Harley, it was like, because he's the sports guy. Yeah. I'm like, hey, I've got this idea. What do you think? He's like, I fucking love it. Right? He's like, truthfully, like, no, by any means were we ready to start. To your point, we were so focused on the beer, right? About your question of how do you do both?
How do you focus?
That Harley was like really on top of it. He's like, you got to start this league. You got to start this league. He's got working with a couple analysts, principal on his team. And then we ended up doing a deal with him, Mark Hargrove, who you met, a Tampa guy, who actually let us use his offices for the first part of starting this, and a couple other investors. And then that was like the pre-seed. And then we took the investment and started it.
When was the first event?
August, coming on a year almost, August 2025.
August 2025. And your idea was, we want to start a professional wrestling league, not a professional unscripted freestyle wrestling league.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of things, like back to what you said about my son, and like what I saw was missing outside of just like the business opportunity, right? And people are like, oh, you don't start something you're passionate about. And I love wrestling. Yeah. So outside of just like the league, I was watching wrestling on a Friday night. Like I would sit home and relax. My wife's like, why are you watching wrestling? I'm like, because I enjoy it, right? So I would be considered a wrestling purist. I love the sport. And I always felt it was sad to see that my son and other kids there was no opportunity to look up for, no matter if you're good or bad at a sport, you always look up professional athletes.
Always.
So that was missing. And then there was there's just no currency that was created for some of the best wrestlers in the world.
So these guys, they go compete in the NCAAs. They're one of the best in the world. They go to the Olympics. There's no real dollars to be made.
No. So
before RAF.
They get paid by boosters or people that are backing the universities and
NCAAs.
NCAAs. But also when you graduate and you're training for the Olympics, you find sponsors that help you live. But should that even be the case, right?
No.
You're Kyle Dake, who's on or Kyle Snyder or Kennedy Blades or Real Woods or a lot of Jason Nolf or a lot of the guys on our Evan Wick, et cetera. There's so many different wrestlers we have. They should be getting paid and making money so that they can, if they want to be a full-time professional athlete, they should, and they're good enough to do it, then they have the opportunity. And that's what we wanted to create, was we wanted to create something for the kids. And we wanted to create a stage that these guys and girls felt respected, and deserved, and had the stage everybody other sports had.
This is interesting timing, because subsequently around the same time, a lot of investment is pouring into and has been pouring into alternative sports leagues. Were you looking at the market as a whole saying that this is ripe in terms of institutional capital coming into alternative sports? Or was that not even a thought of yours? Because now there's leagues for everything.
Well, I had found some good partners. Like outside of Left Lane, we had another firm called Cassius that was an investor in another sports league called Kings League.
Yeah,
Emmanuel,
soccer league. Yeah,
he's great. Then we have John and Ira Lubert, who and this is the beginning phase, not the current new investors, but they loved wrestling, and I felt like we had the right, if we proved proof of concept. And we're able, the game. If you
like if you can prove it, you knew you had people that were going to back you.
And
this thing
and then take out the investment side, because they were great. Then you had another layer, which was Fox, right? Having a TV partner.
How did that come about with Fox? Did you just knock on their door?
No, so it's a funny story. We were at Fox knows this, like, he doesn't like to be called out, but we were on the road with Hulk, right, for the beer. And when Hulk went and spoke with the RNC, he was getting called and doing Waters, Hannity, Kilmeade. And I built a good relationship with Brian Kilmeade from that relationship. And I told Brian Kilmeade one day about the idea of this wrestling league that we're going to do.
Yeah.
It's like, before you shop it anywhere, you got to meet Gavin Haddon and Lauren Peterson about this. And so I flew down there. Again, you've said something back to sales. And I always say to Gavin, I sold the dream of an 100%. Opportunity, right? No deck.
This is going to be the biggest thing you've ever seen.
No deck, right? And I had the pillars, right, in a position. I got Eric Bischoff, who is an unbelievable TV producer and visionary, what he did. You got Izzy on the wrestling side. You have our marketing side. It's just with our team. And so they took a shot. And when they took that shot, that allowed us to really pour gas.
So what, they paid you guys up front for...
We had a 2-show deal.
And then you guys could take that money and build out
2 shows.
The thing
it could go
either way, dude.
Total, it's just like it's
like 2 Super Bowls.
Like regular pre-seed round in a sports league.
So did the first show go well?
First show went amazing.
What about the second show?
Not so good.
Really?
Yeah. It wasn't that. You wouldn't have thought it was. You wouldn't have thought it was bad if you were there. But for I was talking to Eric Bischoff about this.
Who's Eric Bischoff?
Eric Bischoff was the CEO of WCW. He created.
Got it. Okay.
So when I was talking about this league, Hulk goes to me, brother, you got to meet Bischoff, right? He would always say that. Even before the league, he's like, you and Bischoff has some similarities. And so Eric Bischoff, who I used to love growing up watching, he created the NWO with Hulk. He comes to my house in Tampa, and Hulk, me and him sit at my table, and Izzy, we're sitting at the table, and we're talking about this, and we're like, Eric, you want to be a part of this? He's like, I'm in.
Nice.
So nice. So that's how
sales.
Yeah. So Eric liked wrestling.
Yeah,
of
course.
Wrestling touches a lot of people's lives that you don't think about.
It's a very
and Harley liked wrestling.
Totally. Well, coming from Western Pennsylvania, wrestling's a big part of our culture. In Pittsburgh, I mean, it's a big wrestling city. It's interesting because you have these wrestling's like a clique. When you're in, you're so in, you're obsessed. It's sort of like one of these things. It's like equestrian for, young girls that get into horse riding. It's this crazy obsession. Wrestling's always been that way. To your point, there was nowhere to go. So you have, people that are obsessed, and they would invest, but there was nowhere and nothing to do.
Well, people all
created that avenue.
Let's be very clear. Everyone doubted us. A lot of people doubted us.
Everyone doubted.
Because wrestling's a purist mindset. And Izzy really had, Izzy took a big chance to do this with me too. It's like, see, he was in the purest form of wrestling. He was a really decorated coach.
Yeah.
And people did not like not everybody, but people didn't want us to change anything really of it. So we didn't change the way the rules were or anything else. We just changed the way entertainment was
presented.
And present 100%.
You brought in storytelling. You brought in, and by the way, if anybody hasn't, if our audience, I'm sure a lot of them aren't familiar with Raph, go to the Instagram channel and look at what you guys produce. I mean,
we do
it's
275 million views every 30 days.
It's unbelievable. I went to the one in Tampa. I mean, I was absolutely blown away.
Yeah, it took you a while to come. You're supposed to come to the one in Penn State.
Penn State.
Which you did. You're supposed to come to a couple. You're supposed
I was supposed to come to the first one in Cleveland.
And Miami.
Yeah. But I made it hometown.
You made it hometown.
And I was ringside.
You got a great
it was unbelievable.
And
and I was just honestly so proud of you. Like, because the tech world, we have companies that are successful, but you can't visually really see that outside of, people's bank account and people using the software. But to go to the Yingling Center, which is where USF plays, where it was, and to see all those people there for that, I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah, I think that for me in my career, this has been something that is actually changing the landscape for the better. Like tech is you're always going to change it. But this is like touching people's lives.
Totally.
And that's what's so cool about this specifically. I think that when I'm there, I get the chills a lot because I see my own son with his friends engaging in the experience and as a fan, right? And I think that's the best part about it every time is when you go to the fan zone, you watch the kids and we have the clinics the next day.
Yeah.
Wrestling's a very humble sport.
Totally.
It's different than other sports. It's like you're going to get Kyle Dake and Snyder and Johnny Julius and all these people doing crazy
meet and greets and coming to see these kids.
And then I go to every day, and I'm in Tampa, I go to Connor Beebe's club here. It's he's from Chicago and he runs an amazing program. Even when he gives his speeches at the end of the practice, you listen because you're learning something from but it's a very humble sport where everyone wants to help.
It's killer. Give me some stats now about the league. So we're over a year in.
We're a year in. We're on 9. We're not a year in yet.
That's a good August, we're not even a year in.
9 shows in. We're selling out every arena.
How many people?
Between 6,500 and 8,000, depending on the size of the
selling
arena.
Every single ticket.
Already done over a couple, like almost $2.5 million of ticket revenue.
Unbelievable.
Brought in big sponsors.
Yeah.
We were very particular. This is a tech podcast, right? So it's like what I did my whole career was work with agencies and brands.
Yeah.
And so we never just settled for a transactional deal. And we had good investors to allow us to be able to.
And early on, you're the creative director of this. You're the Hulk Hogan of RAF. You don't want to throw some shit on the wall and have it be garbage. And, the brand is associated with that.
It's like gambling. You're believing it. You're betting on your team and yourself. And we brought in really good sponsors. And I think that's helping us grow.
Yeah.
And then we have great investors. We have a great TV partner. Fox promotes the hell out of us.
Yeah,
if you're watching NBA playoffs on Fox, boom, you're going to see
RAF.
If you're watching the World Cup starts in a couple weeks, you're going to see RAF across the whole World Cup because it's on Fox.
Yeah.
And so there's just so many factors that made us successful.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a great team. We have great partners, great investors, and really good TV partnership here.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about technology and sports betting. 2 other topics I want to cover. Technology is everywhere and AI is everywhere. I had the feeling when I was at RAF, in real life experiences are going to be dominant moving forward because everything is online and people have no social skills. How do you think about the intersection of technology and RAF? And are you guys thinking about any sort of tech plays, those types of things?
So we're doing like clipping technology, right? AI, which is like how you push out content and compartmentalize. Like we are using different technologies right now, and we're interviewing
clipping videos.
We're looking at like using AI and a company right now. Before I got here, I was reviewing with Eric and our CFO about this cool technology to use for our next gen tournament platform for youth. But yes, there's a lot of technology incorporated into what we do on the production side.
Yep.
I mean, remember, we're feeding a live stream into Fox. Like there's so many factors of this business that is tech related, right? So marketing is our way we're becoming, helps us grow this business.
Yeah.
So social media is the
social media is amazing.
Yeah, it's a big part of it. So like we're going to evolve. And it's working with like you or Left Lane and all these people that tell us tech that we need to be looking at and seeing. And that's how everything's about relationships. So we're constantly looking at tech right now. One we just did was with a specific AI company to do what I said, which is important on the clipping side because we have so much content.
Sports betting. We're big investors in Better. You and I have talked about this. I know that you met with Joey, the CEO, before. How does sports betting play into RAF? I know Spartan is a big sponsor, but are you thinking that people can bet on RAF here soon?
Yeah, people in certain areas, like right now, you mentioned Pick'em earlier. You can do through Underdogs, you can do pick 'em with us as well.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so you can do that on Underdogs, and then a lot of other platforms, DraftKings, et cetera, we've been in conversations with. We're just waiting on the regulatory bodies to approve us. We just got approved in Connecticut, so you can bet us in Connecticut.
Got it.
I would say in the next like 3 or 4 months, it will be a place where everywhere you go, you can bet on RAF. What's cool about RAF though is we do get reached out to a lot by the desk. When I say the desk, I mean the trading desk at the big betting organization saying we're getting a ton of inbound.
Really?
And so they're like, where are you at in the area? And so it's great for us if you have a big name reaching out and saying, hey, we have a lot of volume. How do we get that approved? So we get reached out to by a lot of the trading desks that are getting in the shape. So it's pretty good. I mean,
do you have any fear that gambling could ruin the purity of RAF right now? And the reason I ask that is because now you can't watch a game without the line, the sports betting line being below. You have these negative trends of, 18 to 25-year-old males that all they do is gamble and they're addicted. So there is some negativity that goes along with sports betting, and you guys have such a pure play product right now. Like, is there any fear of that?
I mean, there's anything can happen, right? You can have, I think you get nervous about some of the stuff you see in other leagues that happen and stuff like that, but you only can set the right guidelines and to protect yourself and making sure that you keep your league clean and that you run the rules and compliance. And like I said, we have a really good attorney that makes sure that
as long as you have good attorneys,
it's like,
should be good to go.
I think with fantasy and pick'em and sweepstakes and all these things, I think it also drives engagement. So
it absolutely
there's negativity.
Does. I mean, that's the whole play.
There's negative things around everything. Right. There's always going to be pros and cons. I do think that gaming wouldn't be as big as it was in sports if it didn't drive engagement. So I think if you don't have it, I think you're just missing an angle of how do you create more engagement.
And you don't have any fear, because this is a very family-oriented league. You don't have any fear that gets in the way.
Sports betting and gambling is crucial, and this may get hate or whatever from it, but it's a big part of engagement of keeping the audience.
Well, when you look at fan engagement, I mean, there's been so many products that try to do fan engagement, and the number one product is sports betting.
So and then you have the kids want to have the trading cards. They want to have that. The adults want to be able to bet their friends and bet the books. That's just how it is.
100%. Yeah. All right. How do you go from 6.5 to 8,000 that we're selling out right now to fast forward a year selling out 20, 25,000?
I think we go to international, we'll fill up 80,000.
80,000.
I think when you go to international, because it's different, right? It's international markets. They don't get as much. They're not getting an RAF there.
They don't have the tour. It's like a one-time thing.
Yeah. When does this air, by the way?
This will air in 2 weeks.
Cool. So what's also really cool is that we're going to we're going to announce a big partnership in Vegas. We're going to be at Fontainebleau October 3rd.
That'd be awesome.
Which is amazing because, again, that's how you know we're being reached out to by Vegas.
So they reached out to you?
Yes. They knew about RAF. Actually, Adam Arviv was at a lunch with someone, and they were all talking about RAF with people from the Fontainebleau.
Yeah.
And Adam's like, my close friend is the CEO of RAF. He's like, can you get us in touch?
Yeah, of course.
And so this is like 8 or 9 days ago. Yeah. And boom, they need sports. We've gotten reached out to by other. Yeah. We were in a conversation with another big Vegas group, but Fontainebleau's a great hotel, and it was a great spot for us. Yeah. And so that's how we got there. But internationally, we're going to
80,000. You think?
I think if we go to a country, depending on the country, I think if you go to India, you're filling up 80,000 people.
It's crazy
because it's second most popular sport.
Do like the UFC and other leagues? Do they go international?
UFC kills it.
Internationally, kills it.
Yeah. So does WWE.
I guess I knew like WWE WrestleMania was in Saudi.
They kill it. Both of them. PFL does pretty well. That's where PFL does better.
What's PFL?
Professional Fighters League.
What's that?
It's this MMA organization.
It's MMA.
Yeah. So they do better internationally than they do in the United States because UFC has such a market share.
Yeah, so, in the US.
And Bare Knuckle, it's another organization. They go international. But one thing we both can agree on, I think, whether you're a tech entrepreneur or CPG, et cetera, but sports isn't going anywhere. So so it's right now, I think from an investor perspective and other groups and why there are a lot of emerging sports leagues, because content is key.
Live events have never been bigger. They've never been more expensive. And if you look at live events like music, no longer do artists make money off of streaming. I mean, pennies, right? Unless you're Taylor Swift. They don't make money off of record deals. They make money off of festivals and concerts. And you look at this sort of flip to the individualism of athletes, which plays in very well to Raph, social media, the growth of all of that. This is just the beginning, I believe, of what will become a massive run in sports. And then also you have the integration of institutional capital, which, you know, when you have bigger dollars, the stakes are higher, more money's thrown around, things just get bigger and bigger.
Well, I won't say like, I've learned a lot of lessons like you asked me earlier in my fundraising and what you do and how much capital you spend and, you know, how you be efficient. It's like we said, it's the hardest education you learn, but you learn.
Totally.
But with RAF, I mean, we built ridiculous brand equity with very little money.
Totally.
I think that's something we got to call out here.
Yeah,
it's not like we raised,
it's crazy.
some of these other, like if you look at, I think it was like the other MMA raised like 590 million. PFL's raised a lot of money.
It's crazy.
We built.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's because we saw, it's like, it's a little, I think as you would agree with me, it's like a little bit of luck, a little bit of timing, and the right opportunity, right?
Do you think it's because people are just rabid? Like I keep on going back to this. People are just passionate about wrestling.
They're passionate about wrestling, but you have to capture the other audience. The reason why we'd be successful in the beginning of this, no matter what, is you got the fanatical audience.
Yeah.
But if you want to,
how many people are out there?
Our responsibility, what we set out to do, and what we're creating is we have responsibility to the wrestling community to grow that sport.
Yeah.
And how we're going to grow that sport is by the crossover matches that you see. Most of the rest,
that's something I didn't really realize. Like going to the match, you've got UFC fighters,
but they're all wrestlers.
But they're all wrestlers. We
call them UFC fighters, and they are.
Yeah,
that's how they made their money.
Yeah,
but they start. Kobe Covington's a great example of this. Kobe Covington, my friend, I think you met him. This guy Noah Schwartz, who back to our relationships, I met him through Adam RV, and he introduced me to Kobe.
Yeah,
and Hulk walked out Kobe in Tampa when he fought Joaquin Buckley. They called us up around the road, and they're like. He's like, will you go out and will Hulk walk out Kobe? It's his idol. And I go, Hulk, we walk out Kobe. He's like, brother, if you tell him I'll go do it. So we go to Tampa, right? Fast forward a year later, Kobe's in our wrestling in our league.
Yeah.
But what Kobe always says is like, his first love was wrestling. He was an All-American at Oregon State.
Yeah.
And so
there was no money in wrestling though.
He went to the UFC, became a star, but he's also known for second most takedowns in the UFC.
Yeah.
Michael Chandler was an All-American at Missouri. Ben Askren, who was our first guy we signed for the league, who then, Izzy and him are very close friends.
Yeah.
He went and had that near-death experience.
Yeah.
But he was our first signature. He was a wrestler that transitioned to MMA. So again, the thesis was, if you had a choice, you could do both. You can do one or the other, but at least you had a choice.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's killer. Congratulations on everything. It's super exciting. When's the next fight that everybody can watch?
May 30th in Dallas.
May 30th in Dallas. So by the time this airs, that might be after. What about after that? What's the next?
June 13th in St. Louis.
You're on the road again, bro.
July 18th, Milwaukee.
You're on the road again.
And you should come to the anniversary show in Cleveland, August 22nd.
Back to where
it's going to be an amazing one.
Back to where it all started. Yeah. All right, let's leave it with any final words for entrepreneurs listening to you and seeing the ups and downs of your career. Now, some amazing success with RAF. What would you say to some entrepreneurs out there listening to the show?
I say entrepreneurship is a long road. And there's times for any entrepreneur that, including myself, where you want to give up on yourself. And you go through really tough. I've talked to you about this in confidence, right?
Yeah,
but you go through tough times and you try to find your way out of them, and you need a good base. You need a good family. Like without my wife, my kids, my immediate family, my in-laws, everyone around me, I have a great support system.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have come out. There's times where I literally said to myself, like in my own head, and I'm not going to be able to do this, right? So it's like, it's just and then you need a team. Like there's, back to like my partnership with the Real American Bear and Terry and my team there. It's like, you just have to have each other's backs.
Yeah.
And so entrepreneurship you feel alone, but you're not alone. And if you're going to be successful, you just have to have the right people around you, and you got to have people that are going to be through thick and thin. And you may not have that in one of your companies, and you should learn from that company and then move to the next company with doing the exact opposite.
Learn every time that you go to the next one.
And it's just, that's it. So it's just find trust and loyalty.
Love it. Brother, how was that?
That's good. And Saxon, thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much, Chad. If you guys enjoyed the pod today, throw us a follow, throw us a like here from the home studio at the Florida Funders office. Chad, thanks again, brother.
Thank you for having me.